Phil Jackson popularized a threshold for NBA championships. He said that the mark of an NBA champion is to reach 40 wins before you pick up your 20th loss of the season. That was pretty simple for Phil. You get to 40 before you pick up your 20th loss, you are a title contender. This weekend, we saw the Knicks, Grizzlies, and Nuggets all pick up their 20th losses of the season before hitting that 40-win threshold, eliminating them. That leads us to, we only have 3 teams remaining in Phil Jackson's mind that could win a title. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you believe that there's only 3 teams that can win a title this year?
No. No. I would throw the Nuggets in there still, too, even though they got punked by the Lakers. Jokic, to me, is still the best player on the planet. All respect due to SGA. And I know everybody wants to give the narrative to SGA. What Jokic is doing, he's better than his other MVP years. And when you've got the best player on the planet, and Jamal Murray is not absolute garbage like he was in the Olympics and in the first 2.5 months of the season, and you've got Michael Porter Jr. who can get hot, and you've got Aaron Gordon, and you know how to win, yeah. And the thing about the Nuggets is, particularly this year, they started out really poor. But outside of that, they've been one of the best teams in the league after that start. Like they have figured it out. So I squint a little bit at that. But I mean, you look at the Nuggets. What they won 7 in a row, 8 in a row. I think they've won 9 out of the last 10. Like they're good.
Yeah, they're good.
They're really good.
They're really good.
I think it's the only other team I would put in there.
I went back and I was looking this stat up. So in the last 40 seasons, there have only been 4 teams to win a title that have not hit that threshold of 40-20, the 40-20 threshold, picking up 40th win before the 20th loss of the season. They are the 1995 Rockets, the 2004 Pistons, the 2006 Miami Heat, and the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks. Only 4 teams over 40 years, so 90% of your title winners have met that mark.
And every one of those teams has multiple Hall of Famers on it.
Multiple Hall of Famers on it. Yeah, like Phil Jackson was kind of right. It does show the dominance.
It's a pretty succinct margin. It's the same thing of like teams have never won a title being outside of the top 12 in either offense or defense in rating. Like it doesn't happen. I think the only time it's ever happened was that the Cavs season in 16-17, because they were coasting through the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
They were very much locked in on playoffs are the only thing that matter. We need to make sure.
They were winning games.
Yeah.
They
were running teams on the floor.
On the
offense,
defensive end of the floor, they were all right.
Yeah, they at one point in time in that season, I think they were like 28th in defense until like the final 2 months, and they got to like 20th. But then it's that, and then it was the 15-16 Warriors who turned it on like the second half of the season. I think they finished like 14th in defense. But outside of that, like you've got to be upper echelon.
And when you think of those teams, so that 95 Rockets team, okay, they were aging but
loaded.
The 04 Pistons were probably the best defensive team that we've seen.
Yeah. It's up there like the 85 Bears.
I mean, yeah, I was.
The worst defender in that lineup is Rip, and Rip was at least passable.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, you had a defensive player of the year in Ben.
I was going to say since the dynastic Bulls, but I mean, where they had pit bulls everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you had Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, and you could get away with Jed Bushler and Steve Kerr.
Yeah. And then you had the 2006 Miami Heat.
Really good defensive team.
And then the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks had Giannis, and he went absolutely crazy. And that was the rise of like, hey, that Chris Middleton guy, he's really good when he's healthy.
Brooke Lopez was
Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
they were out of this world.
Yeah.
So you're saying the Nuggets probably the only one in that group because the Knicks and the Grizzlies are close. Knicks, Grizzlies, and Nuggets all 37-20. By the way,
the Knicks and Grizzlies to me are fraudulent contenders, but really good teams. Did you see what the Celtics did to the Knicks again?
Yeah, absolutely boat racing. I think it's like they've had a lead in 4 matchups with the with the Celtics. They've had a lead for a total of like 50 seconds.
Yeah. And the Knicks, I want to say they're 0-10. 0-10, I think, against the top 4 in the league. Something like that. Or top 6 in the league.
Yeah, I did see that. It is against Oklahoma City, Boston, and Cleveland.
Yeah. They're winless.
They're winless. I think
and they're getting
7.
and they're getting smoked.
Yeah. That's not good, Bob.
No,
that's not good, Bob. All right. Well, so we're buying, but selling a little bit. The Nuggets could join the list. They could be the 5th in the last 40 seasons.
Is there any other team that you think could hop in here? Like, do you believe in the Knicks? Do you believe in the Grizzlies?
No. Well, the one that's going to be interesting is the Lakers. They don't have a big. And that is going to be their Jackson Hayes, Alex Len. If you're leaning on those two guys,
go with God.
Yeah, because you are going to run into, in the NBA Finals, in the Western Conference Finals, you are going to run into teams that are.
If you want to
there.
say that what you saw from the Lakers against the Nuggets this weekend was like the thing, and that's what you're going to call on, be my guest.
Okay,
be my guest.
Well, 7-game series.
Yeah, I don't. I don't buy that for 1 second.
All right.
I don't think you can do that to Nikola Jokic for 4 games.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think you can either.